Well, this show was downright fucking annoying to watch. Outside of the Shield and the WWE Championship match, the rest of the show you could have took and threw it in the garbage can. This show was absolute fucking garbage. And not to mention the Shield being placed in the main event of the show, I think was absolute bullshit. 100%. I think it was great that they did the Shield reunion, even though their opponents were downright pathetic. I mean, the match they did put on with the Shield was fantastic. It was probably one of the best matches that those Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre put on together as a team with another group of opponents. And the Shield, they were great. Most of this match was centered around Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. A lot of it has to do with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns because of the fact that Roman Reigns just got out of dealing with cancer. He's still keeping a close eye on it and everything to make sure it doesn't come back, but it's not affecting him anymore. And then you also got Dean Ambrose being announced on TV that his contract is coming up after WrestleMania, so they're kind of making a big thing out of that. So they're giving not just a focal point on Roman Reigns for coming back from leukemia, but also Dean Ambrose, giving him a farewell send-off to make him go out on a good note if he doesn't decide to re-sign with the WWE after WrestleMania. I don't know where he's going to go with his career. I don't know if he's going to retire from professional wrestling altogether because he probably doesn't want to go anywhere else and he just doesn't like the creative direction of WWE in itself. I'm not sure where he's going to go at this point. AEW might be the place for him to go, but I mean, with his wife being in WWE, him being in another company that more than likely will end up being competition to WWE in probably a year or two. I wouldn't imagine they wouldn't be. I don't know where he's going to go at this point. Seeing him go at AEW would be very weird with his wife being in WWE. So it's kind of iffy. They might be just using this as a way of kind of swaying Dean Ambrose because they're taking real life into storylines and showing that they give a shit about him and they find him valuable to the company itself and so forth. So, me personally, I think that they need to just give Dean Ambrose what he wants, whatever that may be. If it's creative issues that he has, I'd sit down with him and talk to him about what he would like to do with his character. What kind of creative idea that he has for his gimmick. Is there something he doesn't like? What he would like to change? So on and so forth, and allow him to stick with it so that he can sign the contract. Because from what I've read, boy, I sound like shit right now. What I have read about Dean Ambrose and his dislike and why he hasn't signed with the WWE isn't because of money. It's on account of the fact that he has been very unhappy with his creative direction of his character. He thinks that the character is very out of place, very fucked up, very deranged and stupid as hell. And he's kind of fed up of it. So, me personally, I put in his contract what he would like to do with the character. Whatever they can do legitimately on a contract. I guess you could give him a small case of creative control. At least with his gimmick. I think you should give the guy some creative control on his gimmick That way he can say yes or no to the idea of what they might do with his character. If they decide maybe it's time to do a change, how he would feel about it, and they'd have to sit down and talk to him with his discretion of giving the okay to changing anything about his gimmick or character. So I think that would be the best thing for them to do, so that they put him at ease, make him feel happy where he's at, so he won't leave the company. That's just me. But let's get into this review. I've been talking way too much about Dean Ambrose and him re-signing what WWE can do to keep him. I think this is a conversation I should use for random wrestling talk, but oh well, I already did that, so I ain't gonna go ahead and add on more bullshit for another video. Anyway, guys, let's get into this bullshit. First off, we go ahead and we have the matches that we had. I'm not going to really do them in order. I'm just going to go over it. From what I remember, the SmackDown Tag Team titles kicked off the show. And Shane McMahon and Miz lost. Because Miz went on the top rope, did a frog splash, got kneed in the gut, and then got pinned. Shane McMahon turned on the Miz instead of the Miz turning on Shane. Very interesting. Miz staying a face while Shane turns heel. Shane hasn't played a heel since he was a young adult in fucking 1999, early 2000s. Very awkward. Never imagine him going back to playing a heel again. He doesn't really seem to be the heel type, in my personal opinion. I think he's well off being a face and a heel. I guess it's because I've been so used to it for such a long time. So I guess that's why they wanted to go with that idea. Matchup itself wasn't all that big of a deal. I mean, I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I don't think it's really anybody's fault per se. I think that the whole thing is just played out way too long, and it just didn't need to happen. Kofi Kingston was thrown into this conversation of things about him challenging for the WWE Championship. Well, later on that night, he actually goes in a handicap match against The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, in a handicap tornado tag team matchup, and he ends up getting his ass kicked and so forth. Wow. Very good stuff here. Whoa. Bullshit upon more bullshit. We then go on. We also got a matchup with Mandy Rose versus fucking Asuka. This match was fucking boring as hell as well. Back-to-back boring matches. Who gives a flying fuck about this one? Mandy Rose looks like she forced herself to trip on purpose over a fucking curtain while Sonya Deville was trying to get a kendo stick from underneath the ring. Why the kendo stick was even there in the first place, or why she didn't do any distraction on Asuka, is beyond me. I have no idea. Anyway, Asuka hits her with a roundhouse kick, beats her 1, 2, 3, end of match, making Mandy Rose not look like she lost horribly, but it was just a slight mistake on her part, stepping on top of the apron because of her partner trying to interfere in the match and causing her problems trying to win. So that's all there is there. 2 out of 5 stars. I'm just being generous here. Let's see here. Trying to remember what the fuck happened next. Oh yeah, that was that fucking dumb match that they had. They also had a fatal 4-way again for the United States Championship, which, by the way, it would have been really great to just have a random match thrown in without any announcement like they did Tuesday night, and have R-Truth come out and say, hey, I have nothing to do on this card, on this pay-per-view. I want something to do. I'm doing an open challenge for the United States Championship, and then have that fatal 4-way. That would have been a great matchup. The match was great on Tuesday night. This match was no different, very similar to Tuesday night's event, and it was a very good matchup. I have nothing against it, no gripes, no problems. Samoa Joe did retain his title, thank God, but then again, it would have been neat if Andrade or Rey Mysterio won the United States Championship to create a one-on-one matchup between those two at WrestleMania for a one-on-one match for the U.S. title. So that's just the way I feel about it, but at the end of the day, I'm not upset with the fact that Samoa Joe retained his title instead of being a champion for only like 5 fucking days. That would have been pathetic. Matchup itself, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Pretty solid matchup. Nothing to complain on that. The Raw Tag Team titles, that matchup was pretty well put together as well. I didn't have any issues with it per se, but the build to it, the whole situation with the whole entire thing, it's horrible. The way the Raw Tag Team division is, it's just horrendous. Ricochet and Aleister Black really up the bar with the Raw Tag Team division tonight, giving it some kind of life into it. So I was very impressed with how well they worked together as one and how they were able to take this triple threat match that seemed like it was going to be an absolute disaster and turn it into something really good. The Revival went out in style. They won their matchup with a tag team finisher on Chad Gable and got the 1-2-3. Thankfully, Ricochet and Aleister Black did not eat the pinfall. This could lead to the Revival defending the tag team titles against Ricochet and Aleister Black at WrestleMania later on. That might be a possibility. The matchup itself was a 3 out of 5 stars. Pretty solid, okay matchup. Trying to think here. Oh yeah, Charlotte and Becky Lynch off the top of my head. This matchup was an absolute travesty. It should have had an ending. Instead, it had a lame, lackluster ending to it with fucking Ronda Rousey jumping in the middle of the ring, hitting her in the gut, and that's the end of the match. Why not do a matchup where you're having Becky Lynch, fight for her life and then get a lucky roll-up pin and get the 1-2-3 instead of Ronda Rousey coming in and helping her get the victory by attacking her so she could be involved in the match. I think that's absolutely fucking retarded. Matchup itself, I guess you could say it was okay. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I just didn't care for anything on this show tonight. It just was really a fucking lackluster load of crap. Daniel Bryan defended his WWE Championship belt tonight, but he didn't defend it against one opponent. He defended it against 2 opponents, Mustafa Ali. Now, the decision on putting him in made sense, but at the same time, it was out of nowhere. Like, you're going to tell me you're going to throw Kofi Kingston in, then you put him in a handicap match, and then you throw in, and then you're thinking it's going to be a one-on-one match, but then it's the triple threat match is still on without even a moment's hesitation. What? Kevin Owens wasn't even in the decision of the matchup, so he didn't even really legitimately lose at all. So for him to get placed into the WWE title at WrestleMania would make sense anyway, because he never lost. He never got pinned to lose the opportunity of being champion. So technically, you could still make sense of it and throw him into the WWE picture. That's just me. I think that would be a great matchup, though then you have Kofi Kingston being the outsider of the whole situation. I think you put Kofi Kingston, Kevin Owens in a one-on-one match. Boom, there you go. Voila. Now, they might actually do something like that and have it be a tie, a double countout, and both of them get thrown into the WrestleMania main event of the WWE Championship match, and that's what we get. This matchup was very solid, very entertaining. I really don't have any gripes about it. Daniel Bryan once again playing the heel to perfection. Hate the fucking WWE title. I will continue to say that until that damn belt is changed back to the way it used to be. I hope whoever wins that title does not keep it looking like that, because that is absolutely horrendous and disgusting, man. It's not a belt. It's a fucking play toy. Anyway, this matchup, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Most definitely deserving of that. The Shield versus Baron Corbin. Trying to think here. Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre. This matchup was actually surprisingly good. I mean, despite the fact it was very predictable on who was going to actually win, it was entertaining. I had fun watching it. The crowd was actually the loudest out of the entire show for any match. That was the match that they legitimately liked the most, which I don't understand why. It was a very obvious thing who was going to win, number one. And number two, it is basically the end of an era. Now, if they would have put this in the middle of the show, they could have maybe done something here that would have been worth everybody's time, giving Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose a chance to have something to do at WrestleMania. Maybe those two face each other at WrestleMania, but I don't think that's going to happen now. I think Dean Ambrose is just going to fade off into the distance. I don't think he's even going to have a match at WrestleMania at this point, unless sometime between now and the next week he signs a contract magically out of nowhere. I can imagine him getting a matchup at WrestleMania at that point. But until then, I think he may not even have a match at WrestleMania. He may just disappear off the face of the planet and just be done with WWE altogether. That might be something I'm right about. I might be wrong. I don't know. My whole thing, if I was in WWE's situation, I would just totally focus 100% on trying to retain Dean Ambrose from leaving the company, because this guy is a great asset. I think he will make it somewhere else completely on his own. He doesn't need WWE. WWE needs him, because you could put him on SmackDown, make him the star. He could be the guy to take the title off of Daniel Bryan. I think that would be fucking awesome. He could go back to his old style way of being Dean Ambrose, and there you go. You don't have to do any changes or make him all awkward and weird. Just make him a fucking badass who kicks ass. That's it, man. That's all you gotta do with this guy. It's simplistic booking for this dude. You don't have to do anything, some complicated or sophisticated about this guy. He's a very simple, easy thing to do. I mean, unless he's looking for a complete character change 100%, then I don't know. That's totally up to him, and if I was him, I'd tell him exactly what I want to do with the change of my character. But overall, he's a straight-laced guy that you don't really have to do much of anything with to make him great. I mean, the same thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin. You don't have to do anything crazy with him to get the crowd interested in him and keep people happy. I mean, it was a real simple fix. This matchup, the main event, I mean, I'll give this matchup a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It had a lot of similar things thrown in that we've seen before, high-flying maneuvers. This match reminded me a lot of what they did at Payback in 2014 against Evolution. They did a lot of high-flying maneuvers on the outside, fighting outside. Roman Reigns doing a lot of the hard work as well. It was just a typical Shield-type matchup. Nothing to cry home about. but the crowd was very happy about the matchup in itself. The other thing that I noticed is that some fans were starting to boo Roman Reigns when he started gaining momentum with Superman punches and almost attempting a spear at one point. Then there was times where he was doing maneuvers and people were actually cheering him, mostly or at least 100%. Um, so there is some good with Roman Reigns right now. There is some bad. I think that there needs to be something for him other than just playing a Shield type gimmick. Maybe after this Shield reunion, it's time to give him a new wrestling attire. Give him a new persona. Something of that kind of nature to make him stand out as being his own self. I think that's something he is definitely missing if they want to still keep him as a face. Maybe not character change, but identity change might be something necessary for him to get people to appreciate him for who he is. Another thing that they could do with Roman Reigns is have him continue to do this is our yard, not his yard bullshit. So he's playing towards the crowd. He's keeping them in his back pocket as like he's the Hulkamaniac, Hulk Hogan type role, and they're going with him going along with him in the ride, type of situation. Before he just he was playing a face character, but disconnecting himself with the fans and just saying, "This is my yard." That's not what you want to do, even if the crowd's not reacting in a positive manner. So that's just my kind of critique on things about what they can do with Roman Reigns. I also think a change to his attire would be something that needs to happen, something that is dying to happen. And I think that would be probably one of the better things for his character in itself. Other matches, I don't even fucking remember. I mean, oh yeah, the tag team titles with not Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks and Bayley competing against Nia Jax and Tamina. That matchup was okay, I guess. I didn't really care for it either. Nothing about this card really intrigued me so much. I mean, I give them a 3 out of 5 stars, maybe. I don't know. It was nice to see that Bayley and Sasha Banks retained the tag team titles, but Sasha Banks did not pick up the victory for her team. It was Bayley who did that. So at this point, really, Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, maybe that was a good thing they did that with Bayley picking up the victory with their team. Maybe at WrestleMania now they need to have Sasha Banks retain the tag team titles with her and Bayley by picking up the victory herself. I think that would be a fucking awesome and cool idea they could do, giving her a WrestleMania moment. So that's pretty much my overall deal on this pay-per-view. It was not something that was noteworthy. There was nothing that screamed out to me, holy shit, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, there's some good quality to this show, but it felt like just a random, ordinary pay-per-view mixed with Raw-type elements to it. And it really felt kind of fucking stupid the way they showed graphics under the screen in after the first match was over, giving you a rundown of all the matches that are coming up like they do on Monday Night Raw. I think that is outrageously retarded to actually do when you have a pay-per-view event. Why would you have your pay-per-view giving the audience a presentation as the same way that you do it on Monday Night Raw? Doesn't make any sense. It's absolutely retarded. Anyway, guys, leave your comments and opinions down below. Let me know what you think about the show as well, meaning like Fastlane itself. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Some things that they could have done to make it even better than what it was, which it probably anything could have been done for this show to make it better, because it was probably the worst one yet so far this year. I mean, pay-per-views this year, in the last 3 pay-per-views that we got to see so far this year, 2 out of 3 ain't too bad. Elimination Chamber was pretty good. Royal Rumble was pretty good, but very long. But those 2 pay-per-views to start off the year was pretty damn decent. This one, it was a miss. This pay-per-view was definitely a piece of garbage. I didn't really care for this. This is not something I'm going to go back and watch. None of that shit. I'm not going to go back and watch this event ever. It was way too fucking pathetic in itself. There was like 2 or 3 good matches. The rest of the show, you could have taken it and chucked in the fucking garbage. Who gives a shit? Anyway, hit the like button if you liked the video. Also, hit that bell to get all notifications for any uploads I do on this channel. And also hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to this channel. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.